Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Retrax MX-1 hard tonneau cover here on our 2022 Nissan Frontier. So this is going to be a premium hard tonneau cover. Awesome for if you want versatility for your truck bed, if you want full access, if you want to be able to open and close it wherever you want on your truck bed, and you want whatever cargo is inside your bed to be protected from the elements. So we're going to talk about all those different features. We are going to focus on the Frontier here today. That way you can see what is the better fit for you and your truck. Where this really shines is that this is a hard tonneau cover, but it doesn't take up much space. So you're going to have the ability to lock this tonneau cover whether your tailgate is up or not. You just turn that key, press that button, and from there you can slide that back and forth. That's where the Retrax name comes in for this tonneau cover, because it does work on a track system. That way, if you're carrying other cargo in your Frontier, you are able to lock this into place in that position, and then you'll be able to open or close your tailgate. Then you just have that unlocked, pop that right back out, and then that's when you can slide this back and forth. Bringing this all the way in, you can see that this has a canister underneath. So if you do have other cargo, let's say you have your ladders or your lumber that you want to carry in your Frontier, you do lose a little bit of your bed space. You have everything underneath your wheel wells though in terms of cargo space, but just keep that in mind for your larger items. Now the perks to a canister style tonneau cover though is you don't lose any visibility through your rear window. So you can see here that this sits below your window actually. So if you're looking through your rear view mirror, nothing is blocked. Taking some quick measurements though on our Frontier, measuring from underneath the canister to the top part of our bed, it's going to be 10 inches of clearance. Underneath the top cover of our tonneau cover, to right where those grooves are raised, it sits at 19 inches of clearance. So that's how much space you have for your cargo before the canister. Then you have 10 inches underneath the canister. Now our Frontier does not have the rail system, so make sure to check that with your own truck. It might be a little bit different compared. So measuring from the side of our truck bed, or where our truck bed rails are, right to where the clamps, it's going to be 1.5 inches. So you are going to lose 1.5 inches of space right over here for your wider items. Now this is very low profile. So as you can see here, as I just slide it back and forth, it's really easy to use. In fact, I just installed this. I didn't even let it sit for 48 hours. It's going to be even smoother after you let it settle. So with it fully closed, it's so low profile that you can see it doesn't take up much space above our truck bed. In fact, it takes up less than 1 inch of space. Awesome for, let's say you have something on your roof, or you really don't want something obtrusive in the back of your truck. Now with its matte black finish, it does look really good on the back of our Frontier. This is made of a high quality polycarbonate, which means that it is scratch resistant as well as UV resistant. So compared to those soft tonneau covers, which after a while that vinyl starts to fade in the sun, this is not going to do that. What I also like about this is that you can access it whether your tailgate is open or not because of that locking system. Now the downside to that is, let's say you want to access it over on the passenger side. That will not be an option for you. You are going to have to access it right over here. Also, this does not open over where the cab does, which some other tonneau covers do. So if you do have a toolbox in your Frontier, probably not going to fit with this one. So my personal thoughts about this tonneau cover is, while the canister style is usually extra obtrusive and you lose space inside of your truck bed, in our case here for the Frontier, since our truck bed is on the shorter side, you also have a smaller canister. So you do still have a good amount of space underneath the canister for your other items. I also like how you do have that 200-pound evenly weight distributed capacity on top of the cover for your smaller items. You can sit it up there, open the tailgate, and then put it on the inside. So in terms of being super low profile, super easy to use, I am a big fan of this. Now in terms of the install process, it can get a little tricky because there is a lot of adjustment. So definitely devote, I would say, half a day to installing this, as well as 2 days to let everything settle before you have a fully usable tonneau cover that works for you. Now, let's take a look at the install process. So the first thing you need to do is just set up your tonneau cover, and you do have some shipping materials on here to protect it. So you have to take that off, and that's going to involve 2 screws, 2 shims, as well as the shipping tube wrapped around the tonneau cover. So go ahead, grab your screwdriver, and I set the cover on our packing material, the cardboard, just to keep it safe while we set it up. So just loosen that screw so that you can remove the shim. Once the screw is loose, you can then take off the shim, and then it's automatically going to want to slide forward. So just let that happen as you take the shipping tube off. And now you're going to install the rail. We want to make sure you have the correct rails on each side. This has a green sticker, so you know that it's going to be the passenger side rail. Another way to know which way it's facing is you have this tab, that's me facing the back, and you have this large opening to make it easier for you to slide things through. So go ahead, pull out your canister about 6 to 8 inches, and that way you can feed it onto the rail. You're then going to install 4 screws, so right here as well as right here, securing the rails to the canister. You're then going to install your front cover. So this goes underneath the rails, but over the canister, and then you're going to have these holes on the side. So you're going to have 2 screws and then included tool in order to tighten them down. So your canister is actually only going to sit about 10.5 inches below your truck. If you don't have drain holes in your truck bed, you're going to have to drill some, but since the canister is so small, you have a good amount of places to put it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like right here above the wheel well, since we have a fuel line underneath the driver's side that I don't want to go down into, so we'll go towards the bulkhead or through the bulkhead towards the cab. Making a pilot hole, just be careful not to go all the way through towards your cab. After you make a big enough pilot hole, go ahead, use a step bit just like this, and then keep drilling until you have a hole big enough for that drain plug. Fit that drain plug through just to double check, and if it fits perfectly like that, you're ready to continue installing that tonneau cover. You're going to need a friend to help you just lift the tonneau cover up, and we're going to bring this in towards the cab. So your friend will be on the other side as you guys just gently drop it into your bed. So we're going to line up our tonneau cover, and you're going to have to look on both sides. So the first is going to be here by the bulkhead. Make sure that this seal does not go past the bulkhead cap. You can see it right there towards the cab, so just push that back and forth till you get it just lined up. Next, you're going to use this plastic part that came as shipping parts as a shim. So you're going to measure for 1/8 of an inch of a gap between the rail and the tailgate. So our Nissan Frontier today does not have the rails, so we're going to use the clamps that clamp around the bed itself. So you're going to put the clamps right between the adjustment screws. Make sure that the teeth line up with the teeth on the rail. Then you're going to use a 1/2 inch socket to tighten down those clamps around the rails. After clamping your 4 clamps down, your next step is just to make sure that your tonneau cover is square. So to do that, you're going to take some measurements. I say take 3 measurements. One's going to be near your tailgate. See how far apart that is. Mine's at 55 inches. Go ahead towards the middle and take that measurement again, 55 inches. And then take another measurement right over here by your bulkhead and see if that is square as well. And if you do need to make adjustments, you have these adjustment screws. So these are going to be the nylon adjustment screws where you put your clamps in between, and then you can use an Allen key to loosen or to tighten them. That's going to push in on the rail if you need to move it out. Just remember to also adjust your clamps. You're going to have to loosen this, do this on each side. So let's do that. With the clamp slightly loose, I'm going to tighten the adjustment screw, and that's going to push on the rail. So it can be kind of tricky since you're going to have 4 different clamps and 8 different adjustment screws to get it perfect. But once you have it fully tightened down, it's going to be worth it because then you're going to have a square tonneau cover. Extra tip, push down on the tonneau cover while trying to tilt it upwards as you tighten down those clamps. Now we're going to check for the front cover seal to see if that's square too. So you're going to open and close this. And it may be a little bit difficult at first because it hasn't settled. But go ahead and latch it all the way. Is there more or less of the rubber seal seen on each side? Here it looks very even, which is really good. If there's less weather stripping, then you're going to have to undo the clamps, move the rail forward, reclamp. So this looks good, so no need to do that. And now that everything is clamped down, you've double checked that the rails are square, you've double checked that the front seal looks good, you can now take off that protective film and install your drain tubes. So this fits right into the canister, and then you go into the hole that you drilled earlier. In our case, we're gonna have to cut it right about here, a little past halfway, so that we don't have too much tube. Once you've installed those drain tubes and you've double checked that all your clamps are tightened down, your final step is just to close this, lock this, keep that in place. Go ahead, put your tailgate up. That way you know it's all nice and secure. And I do recommend leaving it like this for 48 hours just to make sure that all your seals settle, and then that's it for your install. This was a look at the Retrax MX-1 hard tonneau cover on our 2022 Nissan Frontier.